chosen ones. Have you ever wondered why your silence makes people uneasy, or why your calm wisdom feels so heavy that others can't help but react to it? It's because silence isn't empty. It's full of awareness. When you enter a room, your energy doesn't blend in. It recalibrates the space. People can sense it even if they can't explain it. That quiet confidence, that depth in your eyes, carries a frequency most aren't used to. You see, human beings naturally respond to vibration. In psychology, this is called emotional contagion, the process where people subconsciously catch the emotions or energy of those around them. So when your aura radiates peace and power, it exposes tension in others. They feel your truth, and the truth unsettles whatever within them is still pretending. Your intelligence and perception are not random traits. They are divine tools. From a spiritual lens, what you call intuition is actually higher consciousness, communicating through feeling. Scientifically, intuition has been linked to the brain's ability to detect patterns and make lightning-fast judgments based on subconscious data. What others might dismiss as overthinking is your mind operating on a higher bandwidth, seeing layers of reality they can't perceive yet. That's why you often notice details others overlook, and why your insights sometimes make people uncomfortable. You don't just observe, you perceive essence. The story of the boy who asked too many questions is a reflection of your own journey. Society teaches people to conform, not to understand. But chosen ones are born seekers. You've always been drawn to truth, not popularity. The world once labeled your curiosity as rebellion, yet now it's your greatest strength. The same questions that made you different are the ones that now make you wise. This pattern repeats throughout history. Visionaries like Galileo, Tesla, and prophets across cultures were once seen as odd before the world caught up to their insight. Your wisdom is not arrogance, it's alignment. You think in patterns, not straight lines, because your mind mirrors divine order. When Lao Tzu said, "He who knows himself is enlightened," he described your essence. You've faced your darkness and embraced your light. That's why your silence commands more respect than loud voices ever could. It's not that you're intimidating, it's that you remind people of the truth buried inside them. Stay tuned, because what comes next will reveal the 7 divine truths about your intelligence, and why your light shakes the world without saying a word. Point 1, you think on a higher frequency. Chosen ones, your mind is not wired like the rest of the world's. While society trains most people to think within limits, binary boxes of yes or no, right or wrong, possible or impossible, you exist beyond that. You don't live in either or, you live in what if. That's the divine signature of a chosen mind. It bends logic without breaking truth. It doesn't just look at the world as it is, it imagines what it could become. Where others see a wall, you see a door that hasn't been carved yet. And that right there is why your thinking intimidates people who've never been taught to dream beyond the obvious. You see, most of society operates like a computer on default settings, predictable, safe, and programmed to repeat patterns. But you're the human version of a software update, constantly upgrading your spiritual system. Neuroscientifically, this comes from heightened intuitive cognition, where both hemispheres of the brain, the logical left and the creative right, work together instead of competing. Studies from Yale and the University of Toronto have shown that people with high intuitive awareness exhibit more synchronized brainwave activity, meaning they literally see connections, others miss. What feels like divine inspiration to you often manifests as what psychologists call pattern recognition on a higher plane. In short, your brain is wired to connect the physical and the spiritual, the known and the unseen. But here's where it gets interesting. This gift can't be taught in schools or downloaded from a self-help course. It's divinely installed. When you get those sudden bursts of insight or those quiet downloads during solitude, that's not random. That's Source God or the universe, whatever name resonates with your soul, communicating through your intuition. History's most revolutionary minds operated the same way. Nikola Tesla claimed his inventions came in flashes of light from another dimension. Albert Einstein said his best ideas arrived in moments of stillness, not calculation. Even biblical prophets and mystics throughout centuries described hearing the voice or feeling the knowing before the world caught up. You are walking that same ancient path, modern mysticism hidden under a humble exterior. And yes, that's why your ideas sometimes sound crazy, because they are. Crazy, brilliant. When you speak them out loud, people look at you sideways, questioning your sanity. But when your vision manifests, they applaud you as a genius. That's the paradox of being a chosen one. You're often misunderstood before you're respected. People trapped in conventional thinking can't grasp the depth of someone tuned to divine frequency. It's like trying to explain color to someone who's only seen in black and white. They won't get it until they see it. You, chosen one, think in frequencies, not formulas. You don't chase validation, you chase vibration. That's why certain people, places, or ideas drain you while others ignite you. You are an energetic being decoding reality through feeling and faith, not just logic. And when you trust that inner knowing, the universe begins rearranging itself to match your belief. Quantum physics actually supports this. The observer effect proves that consciousness influences reality. In simple terms, what you expect starts to form around you. That's not magic, it's spiritual science. So never doubt your weird ideas, that's your connection talking. The world's greatest innovations, art, music, movements, were born from someone who dared to listen to that quiet, divine voice inside instead of the loud noise outside. You are one of those people. You are not meant to fit the pattern. You are meant to reprogram it. Keep thinking in frequencies. Keep trusting your downloads. The very thoughts that make you different are the same thoughts that will make history remember your name. Point 2, your intuition is sharper than logic. Chosen ones, your intuition is not some mystical coincidence. It's your spiritual GPS, finely tuned by divine design. When you walk into a room and immediately feel the air grow heavy or sense warmth from a person's spirit before they even speak, that's not imagination. That's spiritual intelligence in motion. Science calls it the subconscious mind processing microsignals, the twitch of an eye, the subtle shift in tone, or the sudden change in atmosphere. But what science can't fully explain is how the chosen ones seem to feel truth before it's spoken. That's because your intuition isn't just a mental process. It's a divine communication line, a direct download from the source. You've probably experienced those moments where something in your spirit whispered, "Don't go," or "This doesn't feel right." And when you ignored it, chaos followed. Then there were times you did listen, and somehow you were protected from something you couldn't even see. That inner nudge, that gut instinct, is God guiding you through unseen realms. In ancient times, this was known as the still small voice, what prophets and mystics described as divine guidance. Today, people call it vibes, energy, or gut feelings. But beneath every term lies the same truth. You are being led, not just thinking logically. People underestimate how powerful that truly is. They mock intuition as superstition because they can't measure it. But intuition is energy perception, the art of reading frequencies beyond the five senses. Researchers in neuroscience have discovered that our bodies actually have a second brain in the gut, a network of over 100 million neurons connected directly to the brain through the vagus nerve. That's why when something feels wrong, your stomach tightens, your spirit is alerting your body. The chosen ones have a stronger connection to this system because they live in alignment with higher consciousness. You don't just hear energy, you translate it. When someone's smiling but their spirit feels off, you pick it up instantly. When an opportunity looks good on paper but drains your energy, you know it's not meant for you. You might not always have proof, but your spirit already does. The world teaches people to ignore their feelings, to be logical, to not overthink. But logic can't read hearts, intuition can. It's the same sense that told you to walk away from that relationship that everyone else thought was perfect. It's the same quiet, knowing that told you to quit that job that looked stable but felt soul-suffocating. And each time you listened, you weren't lucky. You were divinely guided. Even animals rely on intuition. Birds sense storms before they arrive. Dogs know danger before it appears, and whales migrate thousands of miles guided by instincts alone. Humans have the same ability, but most people drown it out with noise, distraction, and doubt. The chosen ones, however, have learned to listen. That's why your path seems mysterious to others. They can't understand how you just knew something before it happened. But you're not guessing, you're receiving. Your intuition is God's whisper in human form. It speaks through feelings, synchronicities, dreams, and even sudden peace or discomfort. It's the divine alarm system that protects you from betrayal, redirects you from danger, and points you toward purpose. Every time you trust it, you strengthen it. Every time you doubt it, you distance yourself from your divine navigation. So, chosen one, the next time that gut feeling rises within you, don't second guess it. That's not fear, that's foresight. That's God saying this way, not that way. It's not just vibes, it's divine protection wearing the disguise of instinct. And when you follow that guidance, you'll find that every no you received was actually a sacred not yet, because your spirit was already reading the map long before your mind caught up. Point 3, you learn fast and adapt instantly. You could drop a chosen one anywhere on the planet and they'd figure out how to thrive, not because they were handed an easy path, but because life trained them to adapt like water. You see, the chosen one doesn't just survive in new environments. They decode them, they observe, they adjust, and they conquer silently. This isn't about luck or coincidence, it's the result of spiritual conditioning. Every heartbreak, every disappointment, every closed door has sculpted the chosen one into someone who can read the room before they even enter it. Their awareness isn't just intuition, it's divine pattern recognition. Studies in psychology show that people who endure hardship often develop heightened observational skills and empathy. Survival instincts sharpened by struggle. But for the chosen one, this isn't just mental resilience, it's a sacred gift of discernment. You pick up skills fast because your spirit's been trained in every season. While others panic when the plan changes, you pivot. You've been through so many unexpected detours that you no longer fear them, you flow with them. Neuroscience even backs this up. The brain forms new neural pathways under pressure, especially when one learns to adapt. The chosen ones, consciously or not, have turned this into an art form. Your brain and soul have been rewired through every test to function efficiently under uncertainty. That's why you walk into unfamiliar territory and instinctively know where to start, who to trust, and what to do next. You don't need a map. Your spirit is the GPS. And here's the kicker. You might not have the fanciest degree hanging on your wall, but your spiritual IQ is off the charts. You've graduated from the University of Trials, majoring in faith under pressure, with a minor in resilience and renewal. You've learned things textbooks can't teach: how to read energy, how to sense danger before it appears, and how to discern truth from lies with nothing but a gut feeling and divine clarity. While the world glorifies intellectual intelligence, the chosen ones operate from a higher realm of understanding, one where wisdom isn't memorized, it's earned. You've learned through pain, patience, and prayer. Pain taught you empathy, to see people's hearts, not just their actions. Patience taught you timing, that not everything delayed is denied. And prayer taught you alignment, to act not out of fear or ego, but out of faith. This trinity of experience builds the kind of wisdom no book can contain. Scientists say that emotional intelligence, the ability to regulate one's emotions, stay calm under stress, and connect with others, is one of the strongest predictors of success. The chosen one embodies this effortlessly. You don't just know things, you feel them. You pick up on the vibrations of people's intentions, and you can sense when something is off long before it's visible. And here's the beautiful paradox. Though you've walked through seasons of isolation, misunderstanding, and loss, those very experiences made you multidimensional. You've been poor and learned gratitude. You've been betrayed and learned loyalty. You've been broken and learned humility. So, when you're dropped into any situation, be it a new city, a new job, or even a new spiritual battle, you adapt with grace because your soul has already rehearsed survival. That's what makes you so magnetic, chosen one. You don't panic in chaos, you listen. You don't crumble under pressure, you transform. You've been prepared not just to survive this world, but to navigate it with divine intelligence. Every scar on your soul is a secret map, guiding you where others get lost. That's why no matter where you go, you find a way to rise, because your wisdom isn't circumstantial, it's eternal. Point 4, your creativity comes from the divine. Chosen ones, have you ever noticed how your ideas seem to flow effortlessly, as if they were whispered to you from somewhere beyond this world? That's because they are. Your creativity doesn't come from imitation or trend following, it comes from source. When you create, whether it's through art, music, writing, business innovation, or even the way you move through life, something divine flows through you. It's as if your soul is translating heavenly frequencies into human language. And that's why your work moves people so deeply. It's not just skill, it's spirit. Your creations don't just entertain, they awaken. They remind others of something ancient, something pure, something they forgot they once carried within themselves. Throughout history, every great creator who was truly ahead of their time shared this trait. Nikola Tesla said, "My brain is only a receiver. In the universe, there is a core from which we obtain knowledge, strength, and inspiration." Leonardo da Vinci was obsessed with divine proportion, believing his inventions and art were glimpses of God's design. These weren't ordinary thinkers, they were conduits. And that's what you are, chosen one, a conduit between heaven and earth. You're not creating ideas so much as you're channeling them. When people experience your work, they're not just witnessing creativity. They're witnessing a piece of divine consciousness taking form. This is also why people try to copy you. They can imitate your moves, your tone, your visuals, and your style, but they can't replicate the frequency behind it. Because your gift wasn't learned, it was assigned. You were anointed with it before you were even born. When others sense that, whether consciously or not, it stirs something in them. Admiration in some, but envy in others. They feel your power and want to taste it, but they don't realize that power only flows through authenticity. It can't be borrowed. It must be embodied. Psychologically speaking, this makes perfect sense. When someone is in alignment with purpose, what psychologists call a state of flow, their brain releases dopamine, serotonin, and endorphins, which create a sense of effortless productivity and joy. People who witness that energy are drawn to it because it reflects what they're missing: alignment. You move in rhythm with your higher self, and that's magnetic. The ones who envy you often confuse imitation for inspiration, but they end up draining themselves because they're chasing the appearance of your power instead of its source. And chosen one, this is where your strength lies. You don't create to impress, you create to express. Your work isn't a performance, it's a prayer. Every brush stroke, every lyric, every idea you bring to life carries spiritual DNA. It's encoded with healing, wisdom, and awakening energy. That's why some people cry when they hear a song, stare in silence at a painting, or feel chills reading your words. Their soul recognizes the source. They may not understand why they feel moved, but something ancient within them stirs. Your art becomes a mirror, reminding them that they too come from the same divine spark. Your ideas are prophetic because they're born from timeless wisdom. You often think differently from those around you, not because you're strange, but because you're early. You see the future before it arrives. You speak truth that others aren't ready to hear yet. And while some may dismiss or doubt you now, time always catches up with divine vision. The ideas that once made you different eventually become the standard that others follow. So keep creating, chosen one. Don't let the noise, the envy, or the imitation distract you. Remember, the same source that gave you these gifts also gave you the endurance to protect them. You are not just here to make things. You're here to move souls. Every time you share your light, you activate another. And that's how God works through you, one inspired creation at a time. Point 5, people feel exposed around you. Ever notice how some folks act defensive around you for no reason? They fidget, over-explain, or start projecting things you never implied. That's not coincidence, chosen one. That's energy recognition. Your light exposes their darkness. Your calm energy reveals their chaos. You don't have to speak, boast, or even lift a finger. Your presence alone becomes a spiritual mirror, forcing people to confront what they've been hiding beneath layers of pretense. It's not arrogance. It's alignment. Alignment with truth, authenticity, and divine energy. When you walk in truth, lies simply cannot breathe around you. You see, everything in this world vibrates at a certain frequency. It's not just poetic talk, it's science. Quantum physics shows that everything from sound to emotion emits energy waves. When you've gone through pain, healing, and spiritual awakening, your vibration begins to rise. You become calmer, clearer, and more grounded. This new frequency doesn't align with fear, deception, or ego-driven chaos. So when someone living in dishonesty encounters you, their energy field starts to glitch. They feel it, a discomfort they can't name. It's like trying to hide dirt under a spotlight. That's why people sometimes become defensive, distant, or even irritated around you without reason. Their spirit feels seen, and for some, that's terrifying. This is what spiritual teachers call energetic contrast. Light reveals what darkness tries to conceal. Think of it like this. When you walk into a dim room and suddenly turn on the lights, the roaches scatter. Not because the light attacked them, but because it revealed them. In the same way, your spiritual maturity and emotional stability bring things to the surface in others. You remind them of the parts of themselves they've neglected, the truth they've buried. And while some may feel inspired by your peace, others feel exposed by it. The ancient mystics understood this dynamic well. Even in religious texts, light has always symbolized divine awareness, truth that reveals and heals. When Moses descended from Mount Sinai, his face shone so brightly that people couldn't look directly at him. It wasn't vanity, it was divine residue. The same goes for you, chosen one. Every time you choose honesty over manipulation, peace over pettiness, and compassion over competition, your spiritual glow intensifies. That glow, whether people admit it or not, affects them. Psychologically, this also ties into what's known as cognitive dissonance. It's the mental discomfort people experience when they're confronted with something that challenges their false self-image. If someone is living out of alignment, pretending, lying, or masking insecurity, your authentic presence shakes that illusion. You become a living reminder that integrity is possible and that realization can sting. Instead of admitting that they need to change, some project their discomfort outward, labeling you as too much, intimidating, or holier than thou. But that's not your burden to carry. Chosen one, your role isn't to dim your light to make others comfortable. Your light is a divine tool, not to shame others, but to awaken them. The ones meant to grow will see your presence as a call to evolve. The ones resistant to truth will simply withdraw. Either way, your energy does its work. Never confuse their discomfort for rejection. In truth, your presence is healing the environment, even if it causes temporary chaos. You are walking proof that peace can exist in a storm, that truth can live in a world addicted to lies. So keep shining, keep walking in your calm, your clarity, your truth. Because when you walk in truth, lies can't relax around you, and that's exactly how it's supposed to be. Point 6, you make people question themselves. Chosen ones, you are mirrors walking through a world that fears its own reflection. When people look at you, they don't just see another human being, they see themselves stripped of pretense. No filters, no masks, no carefully constructed identities, just raw truth. And truth, as beautiful as it is, can be uncomfortable. Your very existence forces others to confront the parts of themselves they've buried, the dreams they gave up, the light they dimmed, and the integrity they traded for acceptance. That's why some people can't stand you. You don't even have to say a word. Your energy speaks louder than their excuses. In psychology, there's a concept called the mirror effect. It's when someone projects their inner emotions or insecurities onto another person. For the chosen ones, this happens constantly. When you walk into a room with quiet confidence, people who lack self-assurance may feel threatened without even understanding why. Your peace exposes their chaos. Your authenticity exposes their masks. It's not that you're doing anything wrong, it's that your light reveals what others try so hard to hide. The truth is, People don't hate you. They hate what they see reflected in you. But on the flip side, there are those who are drawn to you like moths to a flame. They see your authenticity and feel something awaken deep within their spirit. You remind them of a time before the world told them who to be, before they learned to conform, suppress, or play small. You reignite their hunger for truth, their desire for purpose, and their memory of divine connection. When they encounter you, something shifts. Suddenly, material things lose their grip, fake relationships feel heavy, and they start craving what you already embody: peace, depth, and wholeness. You see, chosen ones don't teach by preaching, they teach by being. You are a living lesson, a reflection of divine alignment. Even your silence speaks volumes. When you refuse to entertain gossip, when you move through betrayal with grace, when you choose compassion over revenge, you demonstrate spiritual mastery in real time. That's why both light and darkness are drawn to you. You activate what's dormant in people. Some rise because of it, others rebel against it. Throughout history, this has always been the case. Think of great spiritual figures, prophets, and visionaries. They didn't just attract followers, they triggered entire societies. Why? Because their presence held up a mirror. The truth they embodied was too radiant for some and too real for others. And just like them, your life carries that same divine spark. So remember, chosen one, when people react to you, they're not really reacting to you. They're reacting to themselves in your reflection. You are both a reminder and a revealer. You don't need to defend your light. Just keep shining. Because those who can't stand your reflection will eventually face their own. And those who are ready to awaken will thank you for showing them who they truly are. Point 7. You were born to lead without trying. Leadership isn't about titles or followers. It's about influence, energy, and alignment. And you, chosen one, embody all three. The world often mistakes leadership for dominance or popularity, but true leadership is quiet, steady, and deeply spiritual. You lead not because you command, but because you carry. Your very presence brings a sense of stability to chaotic spaces, and your calmness under pressure becomes a silent sermon in a world addicted to noise. When confusion swirls and tempers flare, you don't have to shout to be heard. Your composure itself becomes the loudest message in the room. You see, influence operates on frequencies, not force. According to behavioral psychology, humans subconsciously mirror the emotions and energy of those around them, what scientists call emotional contagion. That means your calm literally regulates the emotional temperature of your environment. When you refuse to panic, others unconsciously sink to your peace. That's divine influence at work, leadership on a vibrational level. And that's what separates you, the chosen one, from ordinary leaders. You don't just speak, you transmit. Your intelligence isn't merely logical or analytical, it's spiritual intelligence, a knowing that comes from divine connection rather than intellectual accumulation. Throughout history, true leaders often began as outcasts. Think of Moses, who doubted his voice but still led nations. Think of Harriet Tubman, who followed visions and intuition to guide others to freedom. Or even modern figures like Nelson Mandela, whose spiritual resilience commanded more respect than any political title ever could. These individuals didn't wait for validation, they were chosen by purpose, not people. Likewise, you've likely noticed that those who once mocked or ignored you now come seeking advice, energy, or direction. That's not coincidence, it's recognition. Their spirits sense what their egos once denied, that you carry divine authority. Leadership through spirit means you operate from alignment, not ambition. You make decisions that serve truth, not ego. And that's precisely what makes your influence so profound. It's not contaminated by manipulation or self-interest. People can feel that. They're drawn to authenticity in a world drowning in pretense. You've learned to lead by example, not explanation, to guide without controlling, to heal without boasting. So, chosen one, never underestimate the weight of your presence. You may not wear a physical crown, but your spirit wears one every day. Your influence isn't loud or forced. It radiates through your frequency, the invisible energy you carry that shifts the atmosphere when you enter a room. In psychology, this phenomenon is known as emotional contagion, where people subconsciously absorb the moods and energies of those around them. When your heart vibrates with peace, confidence, and faith, others feel it. They may not understand why they're drawn to you, but it's your divine alignment that speaks louder than words. Your intelligence, empathy, and gifts aren't random. They're assignments, carefully woven into your soul's blueprint. God crafted you with precision, knowing the world needed someone who could see beyond illusion, beyond fear, beyond the limits others accept as truth. So the next time someone seems intimidated or whispers, "Who do they think they are?" remember, it's not arrogance that unsettles them. It's your authenticity in a world built on pretense. You reflect what's possible when divine purpose meets unwavering faith. That's why you must never shrink yourself to make others comfortable. You're not here to blend in. You are here to awaken souls, to remind them of what they've forgotten. People react to your light because it exposes what's still sleeping in them. Your presence alone disrupts darkness, not through confrontation, but through vibration. Stay humble, stay aware, and keep walking in that divine light, because every step you take shakes the foundations of negativity. Chosen one, they're not merely talking about you. They're witnessing a living miracle, proof that divine favor can't be faked, copied, or hidden. You're the evidence that God still moves through his chosen vessels.